You're listening to a Comics XF podcast. Welcome to the Comics XF Interview Podcast, the show where two best friends talk about comics with the people who make them. I'm Dan Grote.
I'm Matt Laswitz, and this week's guests are the creators of the new Titans Comics graphic novel Worst Man, Stein and Ted Brandt. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So, is this a safe space for Spider-Man spoilers, or should we just avoid talking about Spider-Man completely?
I mean, we haven't seen it yet.
No, we haven't.
Avoid completely. Excellent. Not a problem.
We do intend to.
Yeah, it's the nature of this job, isn't it? You know, we always get to see things late.
Yes. Because a lot of the time, if there's any free time, it's spent napping.
Naps are important.
Yeah, we are hoping to go by the end of this week if we can get everything that we need to done.
Yeah.
So it's on our list. I say optimistically.
Tell me about your most awkward experience at a wedding.
Oh, that one's easy for me. It was one of the ones where it was an old school friend getting married, and so a lot of my old friends were there at the same time, and some of their parents as well, on account of, you know, because it was all people who'd known each other for decades. And the mother of one of said old school friends came up and immediately started negging and backhanded complimenting me on our job, and just really going to town on the fact that her daughter is doing incredibly well as a lawyer, which she is, and deservedly so. And it was very much that thing of like, well, you haven't made anything of yourself, have you? Type vibe to it, which was just... That was awkward.
I'm really glad you put that one in because I had somehow forgotten that happened. And I've not been to a lot of weddings. Most of the weddings I've been to have been from your friends. And so we both got this conversation at us, and I had never met this woman.
Yeah.
I had no idea who this was. I was like, who is she? It's like, is this the mother of the bride? Nope.
Mother of the friend of a friend of the bride.
It was a very strange day.
That's a very Spaceballs. Well, what does that make us then? Nothing. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely the most awkward thing I've ever had at a wedding. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, the only other weddings I've been to other than your friends' weddings were like when I was under 10 years old. So
yeah, that doesn't really count.
That's too young to be awkward.
Definitely.
About what's happening. Because I do remember being like about 6 and I was a bridesmaid, and I know it had been raining, and they put us in these little slippers, these little like satin slippers, and so my feet were soaked. So there are pictures from that wedding of me looking very grumpy in the reception with my granddad rubbing my feet warm. There are photos of that, of just me going with my feet up. So, but that doesn't really count because I was about 6.
I think the biggest panic we've had at a wedding was we went to a wedding of one of my friends from university in London, which was in a fantastic Lithuanian church in the middle, Lithuanian Catholic church in the middle of the town, middle of the city. Lithuanian Catholics, by the way, very funny. It turns out, like very serious about the service, but also like there was a lot of humor in there. But then
there was a charismatic priest.
Yeah, and then yeah, he was only a priest, not a vicar, not a bishop or anything. But then so that was the service, and then the actual like kind of reception afterwards was way outside in St. James Palace, which was so that they you know very kindly laid on some buses to take us there, which we got very drunk on, and that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
But then the problem was we were too broke at the time to stay over in London, and so we had to get the last train back. And
The
St
dinner
James
was
Palace
quite late. I remember
is far out enough that all of London's public transport shuts early because it's at the fringes. And so we had to basically, while quite drunk, do a lot of sprinting.
trying desperately to find a taxi,
Yeah,
which we couldn't really afford.
that had yeah. So that and we ended up making it to the train with I think like 2 minutes to spare.
I was so angry you made me run.
Yeah, you were.
Well, that went from awkward to harrowing experience.
Try to get home before we turned into pumpkins.
Yeah.
Matt, your move. Any good awkward wedding stories?
I don't know if this is considered. This was not awkward for me, but this wedding was awkward. It was a wedding on Halloween that was not a Halloween wedding. It specifically on the invitations was no costumes, and it's the end of October. It's expected to be, autumnal. So it was outdoors. It was 85 degrees and everyone is in full suits and everything on Halloween with a bunch of kids who are so grumpy that they are at their whatever's wedding and not out trick-or-treating in costume. The whole thing was just weird.
Ooh.
If you're gonna do that, lean all the way in. Like the bride and groom should be exchanging vows in Jason Voorhees masks.
They should be Jack Skellington and Sally. I mean that was
yes.
But,
at the very least, make it a zombie wedding.
And I can tell you it was 2010 because I went home and I watched the series premiere of The Walking Dead, which was on Halloween 2010. And so I can tell you, I know the exact date and year because I'm sitting sweltering through this wedding and I'm like, oh, just thinking you're gonna watch the zombie show tonight. That'll be better than melting in the sun in this completely seasonally inappropriate wedding.
And also, like we weren't in 2010, we weren't social media pilled as we are now. But like think of the photos and the videos of just like if you got like a whole bunch of people in the wedding party to dress up like zombies, maybe you do a little Thriller dance, maybe you're just, parading around whatever, public space there is. Man, that's just bad planning.
We should totally do Thriller going down the aisle.
Yes.
That would have been quite the wedding march.
Yes.
I do remember. So I come from a large extended family, a lot of cousins, and they all got married in, let's say, a 10-year stretch from like 2005 to 2015, something like that. And I remember the first wedding that my wife and I went to where I felt old. Now we were always big on dancing at weddings, right? I'm not like good, nothing showy, just we're out on the dance floor, we're having a good time with everybody else. And we went to this one wedding. It was one of my younger cousins, and it was like, I think it was like the first time I'd ever heard LMFAO shots or something like that. But like the dance floor soundtrack was just like loud thumping club music. And I was only in my early 30s at the time, but it was the first time that my wife and I looked at each other and we were just like, what is happening? I don't know what to do with this. Can we go back to Your Love by the Outfield? Because we're unprepared.
I think my favorite song to come up on a wedding would be the Cha-Cha Slide, because that one has instructions.
Yeah, they make it easy for you. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll slide to the left now. Got it.
Tell me what to do, please.
Actually,
yeah.
Wait, no. Okay. Here we go. Here's my awkward wedding story. This was actually just last year. It was a relation on my wife's side of the family, and we're seated next to our accountant, who apparently in the past year or so had become an ordained minister and presided over the wedding ceremony. And it was late September of 2025. I believe Charlie Kirk had happened a week before. Well, we're getting opinions now from my ordained minister accountant on how that bright young man debated people the right way. And I'm just like quietly eating my food and occasionally nodding just to keep the peace. Time comes to get on the dance floor. This same man was busting moves like I had never seen to Chapel Rowan's Pink Pony Club. And I'm just like, you're not seeing the dissonance here, the cognitive dissonance that I'm experiencing watching what's unfolding before me.
Good Lord.
That is a fascinating tapestry of a person.
Yeah. Anyway, we are sharing these stories because you are here to talk about your new graphic novel, Worst Man, which is out August 25th with lettering by Frank Svetkovic. Matt, sabotage this synopsis reading, but do it for love.
In a remote island, far from the distractions of the internet and modern life, we gather here today to celebrate the union of Domino McElligott and Batista Lovely, unless Radcliffe Raleigh can stop it. A professional worst man, Rad is hired by the mother of the bride, the merciless tech mogul Valentina McElligott. With the price of failure being his life and less than 32 hours till I do, Rad's ready to pull out every trick in his arsenal to stop the wedding and save his skin, until he meets best man and beefcake Chris Kafka. Determined to keep the best man close for uh, purely professional reasons, Rad quickly realizes he may be on the wrong side of the aisle, and the only mistake needing to be rectified is of his own making. But with sick guests, a ruined dress, and the spell of conspiracy wafting from the Voulez-Vent, is it too late for Radcliffe to get the ceremony back on track?
So, what is the origin of this project? How far back does this go for you two?
I don't actually remember when exactly.
It was a few years.
Yeah.
Because it was just on a dog walk one morning. Just we often just talk about nonsense relating to like ideas we've got going on or work that we've got going on.
Or just general nonsense, which sometimes leads to ideas in this case.
And I just asked the question, weddings have a best man. What would a worst man do? And it went from there. We just, like the book came out of us trying to answer that question. So initially we did pitch it to Dark Horse, which as a serialized, like just monthly comic.
Yeah.
But they didn't take it for various reasons, and which were perfectly fair. But we're very glad that it worked out this way, because the book that we've made now is over double the length that Dark Horse would have given us had they accepted it. Because the most we could have gotten away with them would be 100 pages, and this is 228 pages of story. So it allowed for a lot more complexity and a lot more depth.
Yeah.
And so then how did it wind up at Titan? You just pitched this to Titan?
Well, our literary agent took it around to a wide variety of publishers, most of whom gave us a very...
We love this idea, but we don't know how to sell it to people.
Yes, surely that's what the publisher is for. It's your job to figure that out. But, Titan were the ones who actually said, we love this and we will find a way to do it. And so they became obvious partners.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, was this a project where you had to keep pressing pause on it as other opportunities come up? Because obviously, in the meantime, you've done quite a bit of work at DC the past couple of years. I believe there was a Harley Quinn Fartacular in there somewhere, etc.
Once we started on this, we didn't stop.
So it's not so much that we pressed pause, but is also squeeze other things in as well, which I wouldn't recommend for your health.
No, it was difficult. So yeah, we did a few issues of Darkwing Duck while working on this, and a variety of covers and various bits to keep us going financially because you may have heard graphic novels, not a lot of money up front. So, but yeah, like, no, what we knew once we were starting it, we were in. So, but I mean, when we started it, we already had a near finalized draft of the script. It just got updated a bit as we went through and realized that some scenes needed a smidge of rewriting.
There's more tonal shifts rather than
Yeah, there was no
no
structural
structural plot changes. It's just like, oh, this scene doesn't feel quite right in how these people are quite interacting, and then that could impact some of the scenes later on. But it was
Yeah,
all just dialogue, really, for tweaking.
but yeah, like I mean, we planned before we'd while we were in the process of selling the book, we did obsessive planning, so that by the time the contract was signed, we had a draft to hand in. Yeah, I mean, it was all dialogue tweaks from there, so we could just get on and go, and did. So it's not bad for 14 months' work, considering we had other things to do as well.
Book has a lot of named characters, and they're all introduced, or most of them are introduced pretty quickly, but they all are very distinct, and it's easy, even if you don't quite remember their names yet, to pick them out from a crowd. There's strong, really strong character design. Do you have a philosophy on that, on how you design your characters?
There's quite a lot of shape-based principles going on
Yeah,
with there.
our philosophy is animators got it right,
Yeah.
really. Like, if people have distinctive silhouettes, they're going to be very easy to work out. And also, we gave each of the characters a distinctive color palette for their clothing, so that no matter what outfits they're wearing, they're always in the same set colors. So that you've got two separate levels of visual recognition running on all of them. So because we wanted all of them to be completely identifiable at a casual glance, rather than needing to stare at them to go, which one's this again? I was just going to say between shape and color, like those are what the two things you need to do that, really.
Yeah.
At the same time, how was working up the personality profiles for each of these characters? Because, everybody's flawed, but outside of Valentina, who's the clear villain, nobody is unlikable.
I think some of that is every single one of them has a bit of us in them. And that's how you're meant to connect to other people. You empathize with other people and say, oh, this person, I can identify with them through this. We have this similarity, or we have this difference, and we would differences and similarities are how we connect with the people. And so finding things about the different characters that other people might relate to, even if it's a flaw, it gives them that humanity.
Yeah. And the character work was basically structured long form improv,
Yeah.
because we started off for each of them like with a spreadsheet, and what we had was like their name, their relationship to the wedding. So whether it's like bride, groom, mother of groom, or what have you. Then all we had beyond that was, in some cases, their job outside. We had a personality flaw that would be a defining point for them, and we had a fictional character from film or TV that would talk in a similar-ish way, so that we had a kind of jumping off point to start figuring out the cadence of their speech. And then the rest of it was just, it was improvised. So it was the equivalent of like long form improv, where you take some prompts at the start and then just run with them and see what happens. And mostly it worked out. There were a few bits we had to go back and go, this went sour.
I'm trying to remember which bits.
One point of Camilla talking to Galatek.
Oh,
just,
yes.
she's coming off way too mean here.
Well, it's also that thing that we realized with that scene, it's like, oh, the wrong person's talking.
Yeah. yeah, and so yeah, there was change along the way, but the first draft of the script was like character wise was very improvisational because largely we would just run scenes as we were writing with the two of us just talking at each other, taking one of the characters each,
Mm.
so that we could just feel through it.
Like, well, this is what needs to happen in the scene. Let's figure out how that happens.
Yeah.
Was on reread, I was kind of working through it, and I'm like, if I like, who would I pick as a favorite character? And then it hit me. It's Tyson, who's part of Chris's security crew, who gets stuck in the kitchen on chef duty and discovers he has a knack for it, and is just incredibly happy once he kind of finds his niche there.
Yeah.
Tyson is a delightful boy.
Yeah. Poor thing. He gets yelled at a lot.
Yeah.
That's also so several type A characters, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I love the slow descend into madness of Reyna, who by the end is having to dive in. I will, yeah, yes. What happens to Reyna at the end? Oh, towards the end is just delightful.
Yeah, that part that you're talking about, as kind of like Reina's snapping point of like, okay, I need to focus on something else other than me for 2 minutes. And yeah, she's fun.
Yeah.
now, meanwhile, the wedding is flooded with other characters who aren't, being characters, not, they're not important to the story outside of their surprisingly plot relevant chatter. And they're depicted as, almost monochrome, faceless shapes in places, true NPCs, to steal a term from gaming. But, was there any temptation to flesh them out, or did presenting them that way, I guess help develop part of that visual shorthand for the story?
From the beginning, we wanted them to basically be cardboard cutouts.
Mm.
They are not the focus of the plot.
Yeah, and because the whole thing, or most of it, is delivered via Rad talking about it, actually, it's like, because we start off the first page that people have seen in the prologue is literally a flashback to like, it's literally Rad engineering a flashback. So it's they're indicative of what he is focusing on as a storyteller, and side people simply aren't interesting.
Though we did actually do character designs of cardboard cutout type people because we knew there had to be a certain number of them that come onto the island, and we wanted to make sure that there were in the same number of people, and
And that they were recognizable people,
and you can
like,
recognize them, and you can track these people moving through the book, and there's exactly the same number of people the entire time of like, oh, this isn't someone I haven't seen before necessarily. These are all the same people, even though these are basically silhouettes that did come off the boat with the rest of the wedding party. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
the sheet of like 20
yeah,
20 shapes, I think.
25-ish maybe.
I can't
It was
fully
something.
remember. It's a while ago.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
like
yeah.
the whole point was partly because we knew that we were setting ourselves up for a fuck ton of work anyway. And so we had to find a way to style it out for the side characters who aren't really relevant, because otherwise we would have died.
We not only didn't want them to pull focus from the story, we didn't want them to pull focus away from us drawing the main characters.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I mean, the reason we gave was, to ourselves as much as anyone else, was that it's Rad telling the story, and so that's where his focus lies. But honestly, if we do get a chance to do sequels, likely the side characters will still be that same type of person, because
They're a background noise.
yeah, it helps pull focus in a really clean way without sacrificing any of the richness of a crowd scene.
Is that something that you had in mind as you were creating this, the idea that, we might get to do more in this world somehow?
God, no.
No, no. This has been something more in the last, because we about halfway through
We started, yeah,
thinking about maybe we could do more,
but it
but
was always pitched and intended to be a one-shot thing so we could move on to other stuff. And then
Hmm.
along the way, as we got used to the characters and started really thinking about them, it was like, well, actually, there are other books in here as well.
And at what point in scripting did you hit on the idea that, oh, hey, we can use this to rightfully and justifiably dump on AI a bunch?
Oh, that was always in the planning stage.
yeah, that was before we got to the script because we did for a while figure out what exactly is it Valentina does.
Yeah, because we knew as like a successful rom-com in that way, like if there's a villain, the villain has to have comeuppance, and it has to be through their own design. And so we knew that like with what's going on now, so much of AI industry stuff is just one giant fraud being perpetuated on the economy, the public, take a pick. And so
So it's something to do with what her life is what
yeah,
gives the satisfying ending.
exactly. But like so AI was just the very obvious point because it's such an easy industry to point at and go, yeah, crime.
Yeah.
Not just crime, but crime that the general public will, you can just blather at them and they'll be like, uh-huh,
Yeah,
because it's a lot of gobbledygook.
Yeah.
absolutely. Like they are generally so insulated for their actions just because the number of people who can really follow what is quite arcane economics that some of them are pulling. Like it's only now we got in the kind of the giant circle jerk between OpenAI, Nvidia, and Amazon just feeding round itself with Oracle kind of like a shitty little lamprey stuck on to the side of it all. That like until something that blatant happened, it was hard to like point at to ordinary people and say this is clearly bad. Now at least it's rather more straightforward. But when we started writing it, that wasn't the case.
No.
So
I say
it's
this
just
as I am away from home at a nonprofit tech conference right now for my day job, and all of the nonprofits who have to deal with their tech are like, so how do we deal with AI? And it's kind of like, pray.
yep,
Yeah.
Full
that
shrug
about covers it.
emoji.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we make comics for a living. We're human beings. Obviously, we fucking hate AI. So that was always going to have to be the the power and the undoing behind the villain.
Does anyone who actually enjoys doing their job want to use AI for their job?
Only you have to be deeply in the tech industry, and you have to be using it as a tool to get through some very basic coding. That is, as someone who is tangentially connected to tech in my day job, but only
Yeah.
tangentially, I know some programmers who are like, this can get me the baseline that I can then build on top of, because it can't give me the nuance that I need, but it can digest my code. I can put my own code into an AI and it can give me something that is moving in the right direction of what I need to do, and then I can look at that code and I can rewrite it and perfect it. But it is never going to give me exactly what I need.
It's a shame those people don't also stop and think, hmm, whose neighborhood am I poisoning with this query?
That is the
Mm.
more
That
apt question. But
Mm.
So we talked about Valentina as the villain of the piece, as the rom-com villain, hoisted by her own petard. Kind of digging into that, what are some of your kind of rom-com touchstones? Where, are there, whether it's, movies or novels or anything like that you look to and you're like, this is kind of the text for how these things should be structured.
I mean, one of our favorites is The Proposal.
Yeah, that is very fun.
Yeah, early Ryan Reynolds, Sandra Bullock in her prime is perfect. Um, but I mean, like for a lot of the structure of this,
We didn't
we
actually look at a rom-com.
well, I was going to say like the structure of this was largely kind of heavily inspired by a mixture of Death at a Funeral and Much Ado About Nothing. So Much Ado About Nothing, you've got the two parallel love stories. You've got the villain undone by their own, like their own machinations. Death at a Funeral, you've got the high-speed chaos bouncing between stories that are all interconnected. And there was a bit of Glass Onion in there because, again, Glass Onion really upsets the people that I know in my life who are pro-billionaire. So that was perfect tonally as well.
It's interesting you mentioned that because I was thinking, this isn't a heist story, but it has heisty elements
Mm.
in terms of, the technology that Rad and Nevis use, and the fact that there's essentially a con job element to what Rad does. It's
Had
very
big
leveragey that
leverage energy to me.
way.
Oh yeah, I mean
Oh,
we
we are.
adore leverage.
Yes, we did also like analyze some leverage episodes for their structure. And
Like the first one, because it's the pilot is still one of the most ruthlessly efficient pilots you'll ever see for introducing every major character for the show and exactly what their deal is. Like it's very rare that you get that level of brilliance in a pilot of just like by the end of it, you know implicitly and completely who every single named character is and exactly what they're about.
the
And so that was
efficient
really,
the efficiency of the dialogue for telling you who these people are is
yeah.
so good.
So like that, yeah, studying John Rogers' dialogue is always a good way to learn. He is so sharp with it, and so with the rest of the team on Leverage.
Mm.
All the writers' rooms, they're very, very good at communicating directly without just having characters say things, which is yeah, that's the whole ball game, isn't it?
Mm.
You need characters to be completely open and direct about what they're doing, but it's very unsatisfying if they just say, "Well, I dislike you, and this is why." But you still need to communicate. I dislike you, and this is why, as quickly and efficiently as possible. And that's something that Leverage does impeccably well.
You now have also absolutely have me picturing Waldo as a Dogberry type figure, and just who comes on screen on stage, screen page, and is just immediately like, "You goober, just stop being a dumbass, please." But I can't stop you from being a dumbass, so I will laugh at you.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a fool,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and God, Waldo is a fool.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't think he has an ounce of self-preservation in his
No.
body.
And the great thing about having a shameless character like that is that you can dump every joke imaginable onto them and it will always fly because he can take anything.
And you can picture him doing anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, if we get to make sequels, Waldo will show up and he'll be weirder than ever. And because it's so easy to imagine just the most ludicrous things.
Yeah.
And then inevitably we always just go, well, we can't really dump this on anyone else. So, well, guess Waldo's in this one.
Yep.
It does serve that same plot engine moment where he provides Valentina with the impetus for the back third in the same way that Dogberry awkwardly, completely incongruously stumbling upon someone who unravels Don John's entire plot without intending to.
Absolutely. Again, like we love a fool because, like, Shakespeare in his comedies always recognized that a fool is very valuable because they will see things that smarter, wiser people won't. I mean, that was literally the job of the fool historically, wasn't it? It was to tell the king the truths that the wise men of the court couldn't bring themselves to.
And certainly in Lear, we got the sassiest fool of all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's a Shakespearean tradition that had to come along for the ride simply because it's too intrinsic to the sort of stuff we were shamelessly ripping off to cut out.
So when we had Jadzia Axelrod and Nicole Maines on the show a few weeks ago, and we were talking about Justice League Dreamgirls, and they said that, and it's true that your art has some of the best facial acting in the game, and I mean honestly, the only comp I could come up with on that similar level is like Max Sarin from Giant Days, but when you're drawing
Who we went to
facial,
school with, by the way.
oh, it's awesome.
I actually, because you,
Yeah, I lived with Max briefly.
and then I got their room after they left.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I love those stories. It's like, oh yeah, Michael Caine roomed with Terence Stamp briefly in London in the 60s because
It's
Small
like when I
world.
found out was
Yeah.
it Al Gore and Tommy Lee Jones were like roommates in college or something crazy like you don't think to put these things together.
Everyone
Oh,
comes from somewhere.
that is true.
Ken Jennings' college roommate was fantasy author Brandon Sanderson.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. But anyway, what I wanted to know is, when you're drawing facial expressions, how often, if at all, are there instances where like one of you is asking the other to make a face for reference or something like that?
All the time. All the time. We take videos to do the actions and stuff so we can find the body language and the facial expressions and figure out what the most dynamic part of
Yeah.
the action is.
I mean, it'll always get pushed further.
Yes, but it's
because
that
we're not superheroes.
no. But it's a thing of figuring out what those motions are, what those feelings are that make what they make you do when you're trying to feel those feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's by the time every project wraps, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of photos of me pulling the stupidest faces and poses imaginable that all have to then be quickly deleted before.
You think they're deleted. I need to clean out my photo reel.
The cloud knows all.
Yeah.
So yes, there is so much photographic evidence of the two of us being weird.
Yeah.
Like, and we have a reasonable degree of props. We've got like plastic shotgun pistols, a longbow,
Couple of wooden swords.
couple of wooden katanas, and so various hats.
We
that
did
we
have
put on.
more plastic guns because of doing Crowded, but a lot of those were so cheap that they have fallen apart and have since gone to the bin.
And we've never had a need to replace them yet.
No.
But yeah, like we also like props because they can really help inform the specifics of a stance. Because it's fine to, like hold up a piece of cardboard tube and say, this is a gun. But if you've got an actual gun-like object there, you do get a more natural feel to it. So yeah, we do definitely have a lot of
And some of the props are just stuff from around the house, like
Yeah.
knives and forks.
Yep.
So many photos of us pretending to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, that full 20-page dinner scene had a lot of
Lot of
cutlery
cutlery.
reference. God, that was another reason why we're glad that we could do it in graphic novel form, because if we'd been doing it single issues and done 20 pages of a dinner scene, we would probably have lost everybody.
Yeah.
we're talking about models. Was there a model for? I want to make sure I get the complete name correct. Templeton Dandelion Merrifield Lovely.
He's meant to be a Pomeranian, and as such, he's mostly a ball.
So yeah, no specific model.
I did try and make sure that there was like some skeletal structure
Yeah.
and looking at photos of Pomeranians, but our dog is not Pomeranian shaped at all. It's quite a bit bigger. Some of the time, I did have you holding a stuffed toy
Yeah,
for so to get the hands of how to hold Templeton, but Templeton himself was,
fudged.
yeah,
Basically a consistent potato. It's fine.
a big old ball of fluff.
My wife calls our big cat her big fuzzy potato because he's a big fuzzy potato.
Yeah,
Yeah.
understandable.
Such expressive eyebrows too on that potato.
Like a good scowl, even if it's on a dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want you to share this if you don't want to, but do you have a sort of Dreamcast in your head for not a Sega Dreamcast, but if Worst Man ever were to be adapted in some form?
We've talked about it, and
Yeah.
like
We have ideas of
Yeah.
who we would like.
our top picks would either be Johnny Bailey or Nicholas Holt, because Bailey would be very good at catching the charm of him. Holt would be very good at the making charming the slightly unhinged energy that he gets as the book goes forward.
The poor boy doesn't get to sleep.
No, exactly. So yeah, I mean, we haven't thought about it a great deal, because these things are so nebulous. While we'd like it to be a movie because we like money, then we've got no idea if anybody will bite. So we'll see. It could be, but yeah, I mean, even if anything happened, Hollywood moves on
So
a
slowly.
time scale entirely its own. So
Yeah.
who the hell knows? Like, there's a very real possibility that if something did happen, it might be at the point where the actors we want are just not suitable for the role or are too busy. So
Yeah.
there's no point getting attached to any ideas in particular.
So, we're talking. You've still got a few weeks to go before Worst Man is out there in comic shops and bookstores. But how are you feeling knowing that it's just a matter of days at this point?
Yeah, what he said.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a weird feeling.
yeah, it's very nice having our comps here so we can see that it did turn out exactly how we hope. Like, you know, Titan got really nice paper stock in there, and so the colors printed beautifully. So that at least we can hold on to, that the work we have done is going to come out well. The difficulty is trying to get hopes up about how people respond to it.
Yes. This because yes, it's a funny book. And people don't often take those that seriously, but it's also very personal and
heartfelt.
heartfelt and
And we don't know how that'll go down, because
no.
the times when we've tried doing very earnest things when we've been writing, nobody's picked up on that. So, but they were much shorter. So who knows? Like, we have no idea what to expect at all.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, like, it might be that we get really good word of mouth and sell through a print run and get another one. It might be that the people who've pre-ordered it so far are the only ones who read it. That, like, it could be, it's likely somewhere between those 2 points, but we've got no idea. And yeah, it's a bit like with the Hollywood stuff. Trying to have expectations is the surest way to damn yourself on all of this.
Yeah.
Like, by the time it comes to the second one, if we get to make it, then we'll have a much better idea of what's going on, and so then we'll actually have hopes because we'll have a baseline. But this is our first real project, just the two of us, like effectively a solo work, and we've got no idea what to expect. are a lot of people aware of us enough that they'll check it out? Are a lot of people going to be open to the pitch that we've got going? Like, it,
There's so many unknowns.
yeah.
What is a key way that you feel, yeah, either your art or the way you make comics just overall has evolved since Crowded launched 7 years ago or so?
I've got a bit better at muscles.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we never try to do the same thing twice
No,
in the way we draw stuff.
no. We in fact, that's a very conscious choice of trying not to.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put put a pin in like exactly what's progressed because we very specifically try to push ourselves into new territory every single time. So it's not really easy to see a linear progression in the same way. I'd say our storytelling's gotten more confident.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, Crowded was the thing that gave us the confidence to try things.
I think Crowded was also a start point of let's see how many panels we can stick on this page.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, God, Worst Man, like, it's other writer artists have said this as well that like writing for yourself, you'll always put more panels on a page than writing for someone else because you know what it is you're asking there. And yeah, like I did some maths and it's like Worst Man has, I think, roughly an 8 panel a page average, meaning that like over those 220 pages, we're looking at 1,700 panels, which is
That's a lot of little pictures.
it'd be insane to ask that of anyone else. But yeah, to
So,
answer your question, I don't know what's changed really. Like, I'm not sure we're the ones to answer that. I think it'd be easier for people outside to say what's better because to us it all looks kind of the same, sort of. Like, I mean, consciously different each project, but it's all just stuff we did.
Yeah.
so we mentioned before that we recently talked to Jedzia Axelrod, Nicole Maines, who did Dreamgirls, where y'all did the real world segments throughout each issue and stuff outside the dream. And you've worked on plenty of shorts and one-offs for DC, but this was is something of an event, and so you're painting with a much broader brush. How was it drawing 2/3 of the DC universe over 4 issues?
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was fun and it was challenging, but it was tiring because, like, again, there was a lot going on in those pages at all times, and because we weren't the ones writing it, it was harder to selectively drop out details because what they put in was what was necessary in the script.
Yeah.
And we delivered it, and that was fine. But it's just like with Worst Man, there would be pages with very little like backgrounds on them or things like where we could pace it so we could drop stuff out. And
There's also a thing like when we're doing Worst Man, that's not superheroes.
no,
So their outfits are a bit simpler.
yeah, there's all the costumes. There's a lot going on. I was so-
Superhero costumes are a lot.
I was so grateful though that Guy is currently Space Pope because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
easier than a standard lantern costume.
I love his big flowy robe,
That
potato
was
sack.
that was a delight.
When Dan was reading it, he messages me, is like, why is Guy Gardner dressed like the Pope? I'm like, let me explain to you. Guy Gardner, Space Pope.
Yeah,
I had the same reaction when we got the script. It's like, what is going on?
yeah. Luckily, I knew.
Yeah, you knew, so you could inform me. It was like,
But yeah, that was
Guy.
that was a big relief because like the characters are all fantastic. The writing was a lot of fun. It's just there's a lot of characters and they're superheroes, so the costumes are intense.
yeah,
I think we'd have had a much easier time of it if we didn't start it like a week, 2 weeks after we finished Worst Man. Like
yeah.
that was because we originally supposed to have slightly longer between, but Worst Man ran a little long because we had to take other work
Yeah.
in the making of it in order to pay our bills, and so that meant we had to push it back by about a month, which meant that it butted into when we were supposed to be starting Dreamgirls.
And in those last couple of weeks before we did Dreamgirls, we were coloring maybe 5 pages a day, was it?
Something like that, yeah.
So we were a little bit loopy when we when we got the first scripts for Dreamgirls. It was a bit
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like,
oh.
thank God, because Jedzia and Nicole are very considerate writers, and so got the scripts done well ahead of deadline,
Yeah,
which gave us lots of time to digest them before we had to start, which
yeah.
was frankly one of the only things that allowed us to keep going. So we were very grateful that they were like taking their part of the job really seriously and allowing us the time to think about things before we had to start them. But yeah, it was a fun job.
Yeah.
And like it was very like we were shattered, but it was fun.
And we got to design some Medibay stuff, which was fun.
Yeah, like so yeah, that was fun, and it was just nice being back on DC Pride because we were in the first two, and then not much since because we've been busy. Just at the exact times when Andrea's gotten in touch saying, "Could you do this?" And we're always forced to say,
Sorry.
"Sorry, no." So it was really nice to like this time around be able to say, "We're definitely in."
And you got to draw the first on-page team up of the character duo find of the century, Midnighter and Bunker, who just are delightful as playing off each other.
They need a detective series, and they need it now.
Yes.
Specifically, it needs to be Bunker who's the detective, and Midnighter is the assistant, because that would be so much fun.
They are Montoya's Charlie's Angels.
Oh my God.
I mean, Bunker would be just an incredible Inspector Clouseau type, solving super crimes entirely unintentionally and through a bit of luck on his part and a lot of legwork on Midnighters. It would be so good.
I would read that book.
Me too.
Are there any, after given the size of that cast, are there any DC characters that are left on your bucket list to draw that you haven't gotten to yet?
Ooh, good question. I mean, there's definitely a lot on our bucket list of writing.
Yeah.
There's a long list of things we'd like to do, but I'd like to do Jaime Reyes at some point.
Yeah.
I
That would be
would.
fun.
We've done Booster, even if it was only for a 10-page short, and
We have technically done Plastic Man.
yeah, in the DC Mad collaboration we did with Daniel Kibblesmith, we did the 1-page Plastic Man short, which was
And he was also in the Fartacular.
yeah, that's true. So I think we've probably done enough of Plastic Man that like to
Yeah.
satisfy that itch because we've gotten 2 stories
Yeah.
of him being very silly.
Yeah.
Like so that was a good thing. Like I mean, I wouldn't say no to more Harley. I wouldn't. 'Cause
No.
those covers that we did for the book were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like always got time for Harley. But yeah, Jaime Reyes would be a lot of fun because always love any of the Beatles. Always love Booster. Like just it's a guaranteed good time. And Jaime is such a perfect character. Very glad to see that the the Jaime specifically from the Blue Beetle movie is going to be in the next Superman film. That
Yeah.
I was very glad to see that because sometimes in these shuffles people are written out or recast. So seeing that specific actor is going to be great because he was fantastic.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, so good.
So as we're getting towards the end of the show, do you have a local or favorite comic shop that you would like to get a shout out in for?
Our most local one is Excelsior in Bristol, in the southwest of the UK, and they're fantastic. Like about a year or two ago, they moved to a much larger premises, and
It's very nice.
it's a really great shop. Like they've got a good spacious downstairs, and then a whole area upstairs which is explicitly either for wargaming or signings, and so it's like which has also got like a little coffee shop area in it. It's a really wonderful shop. We don't go there as often as we'd like, but they do from what we've seen, they do a really good job of building their community, and that's fantastic.
What is a comic by another creator, and you can't say each other, that you are enjoying right now? Ro, why don't we start with you?
I can't remember the last book I read. I have been so tired. Like I
Also,
am.
you
I'm not.
don't read comics that much.
No, I don't. I. I.
Which is part of what makes this work as a team.
Yeah.
Because you don't read him that much, and I read him a lot.
Yeah.
And the direct
You-
result of that is that we get like a good outside perspective on
Yeah.
things.
I have a TV brain.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have I was gonna ask if you have a prose something you read, but you could also, is there a TV show you're watching right now that you're really enjoying?
Well, right now we have just started watching the fourth campaign of Critical Role, which is intense and very enjoyable, but also a big commitment if no one's been watching it. So yeah, because I really enjoy the way Brennan is building the world in this campaign, and the descriptions are very visually evocative, even though you're generally not seeing anything. So, well, like a book.
Yeah.
So,
I think well the two I'm enjoying most month to month are Absolute Wonder Woman because my God, like what a book that's been. Everything about it is pitch perfect. It really is. So Absolute Wonder Woman, and been really enjoying the recent primetime arc of Superman from Williamson. Dan Mora is just like he is one of the three best current superhero artists. Him, Jorge Jimenez, Pepe Larraz, pretty much like I'd say that they're the I would put them as my top three currently. And that's saying something because it's currently a crowded field. Like
It is.
there is a lot,
Yeah.
there is a
I mean,
lot of incredible artists working right now. But
you just mentioned Absolute Wonder Woman and Hayden Sherman. I mean, there's
yeah, exactly. Like I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, Hayden is doing incredible work. Very excited to see what they do with Legion, and running that at the same time as Absolute Wonder Woman is just bonkers.
I couldn't get over that they were doing Absolute Wonder Woman and Batman Dark Patterns at the same time, and that had a
Yeah,
more limited cast. The Legion is terrifyingly expansive.
yeah. But yeah, so like yeah, I mean, just seeing Dan Mora draw Superman, like he is both him and Jorge Jimenez actually are like the modern greats of Superman drawing. I think like I would put them right up there with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Kurt Swan. Like they're very of their era, but so were Swan and Garcia Lopez. Like you know, that's not a bad thing. It's just you're of your time, and for the time right now, those two are both phenomenal Superman artists. And so seeing Mora have an extended run on the book has been, yeah, it's been everything I want.
As we're wrapping up here, is there anything else that you two need to plug, whether it's other work, if there are going to be signings for Worst Man, anything like that?
Well, we can definitely plug
a signing.
signing for Worst Man on the 26th at Forbidden Planet Megastore in London. But other work, we are NDA'd to hell. So we're very busy and we can't tell you anything about it.
But the fact that you have them is exciting.
Oh yeah, we've just wrapped chapter 4 on something that we'll be able to talk about in a month or so, I think.
Maybe. I
I think it's in a month now. I'm not certain
it's the beginning of August.
now.
Yeah.
So I think we can talk about it in September.
Ah.
I think. We will find out. This is all a delicate dance.
It is. It absolutely
We're
is.
so yeah, we're hard at work on a something
Yes.
that people will like, I think. It's visually about as distant from Worst Man as we can get. And we're having a lot of fun.
How cryptic.
Yeah. Well, I will say it's our weirdest project yet.
Yeah.
Like, that's a safe thing to say because it's true, but also completely vague. Gives away nothing.
And
But
enticing.
yeah, it's the weirdest thing we've ever done, the strangest thing we've ever been a part of.
Mm.
And we're doing work we're incredibly proud of, and it looks genuinely like nothing else you've ever seen from us.
It's fantastic. It's a great note to end on. Ro, Ted, this has been a fantastic time. Final question as we release you both back into the world. How should people follow you online to keep up with Worst Man and everything else that you have going on?
Blue Sky, probably your best bet.
I have been posting up the countdown for Worst Man on Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's,
But you're not very active on Instagram. I'm
No.
somewhat active on Blue Sky. Like,
quite active on Blue Sky.
I mean,
Well, compared to me, I
Yeah.
think you're very active. Compared to some people, you're a ghost.
yeah, like,
Some people are terrifyingly online to me.
yeah, like compare that to Keys or Alex. I mean,
Yeah.
I am stoic and silent. But so yeah, Blue Sky at brantonstein.com, Instagram at brantonstein. Those are going to be the best places to find us. Our website also has the links to that. So if you go to just brantonstein.com, then there's handy little buttons on there. You can just click and it'll take you to our social media places.
Isn't the pre-order link on our
Yeah,
website?
the pre-order link, and like we've got the prologue, the video trailer, and a summary of Worst Man all on the front page. So if you go there, then you can find everything you need to know about the book in order to pre-order it, and where else you can find us. So
Yeah.
that's if you're going to go one place, that's the best one.
Excellent. Well, Ro, Ted, thank you both so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Yeah, it's been really good.
That's it for this week's show. As a reminder, you can find the Comics XF interview podcast at Comics XF, along with our sister podcasts, Battle of the Atom and Bat Chat with Matt and Will. You can listen to the Comics XF interview podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, Audible, and at comicsxf.com, where new episodes move Tuesday mornings. You can support Comics XF at patreon.com/comicsxf, where, depending on the tier, you can get shoutouts at the end of every episode of the Comics XF interview podcast, early access to episodes, access to our monthly bonus podcast, Our Son Pete, a deep dive into the comic appearances of British mutant super spy Pete Wisdom, access to our new Wednesday Warrior workouts, in which I share exercise tips and review comics. You can request updates to the Xavier Files Mutant Master Rankings at Comics XF, or a primer, one of our custom reading guides for a series, character, or creator, or even advertise on the show. You can also go to patreon.com/comicsxf to order copies of the Comics XF zine, featuring some of the best articles from the history of the site. Digital copies are $10, physical copies are $15, and supplies are limited. Big thanks to our patrons: Oliver Mertz, Nathan Elwood, Mark Danielson, Silas X, Jack Adams, Sean Shambly, Matt
McThorny,
Buddy Nooning, Jake Murray, Zach Quaintance, Joel Elod, Lisa Slack, Will Redmond, Tobias Carroll, Liz Large, Asimov Fangirl, Carla Pacheco, and Shelf Dust. You're all special, and we love you. You can follow Comics XF on Blue Sky, X, Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at Comics XF, me at Daniel P. Grote on Blue Sky, and Matt Lazowitz at MattLaz1013 on Blue Sky. And until next week, remember, in the 1970s, the Beast turns himself furry, experimenting on himself in a series of anthology solo stories, then tries to hide his new furry features by wearing a latex human mask and hands, essentially making him the mutant Carl Havoc.